Start the recording. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone who has joined us from different locations. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Tanmay, and I'm part of the developer community team. Temenos Base Camp is our online developer community and resource center. So today in this 30 minutes presentation, we'll take you on a tour to Base Camp to discover the resources available to you and your team 24/7. The host of the session today is Mary Greening. She's Director Community Base Camp. She's going to take you to a session and talk about what Basecamp is and how it can help you and the entire community. Before we start the presentation, let me share a few things that if this is the first time that you're joining the session, then we have a Q&A panel for the questions. If you have a question during the webinar, then post it in the Q&A panel. I'll be monitoring the panel and we'll give you answers in the Q&A panel. Do not post in the chat panel. So remember to post in the Q&A panel, and we are also recording this webinar, so we'll post it on Basecamp post the session, so you can even share it later with your friends and colleagues. That's about it. I would like to now call Mary Greening to start the presentation. Over to you, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you, Timmy. So can you see my desktop? Let's see. Okay, Timmy, can see it?
Yeah.
Can you hear? And you can hear me, right?
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, welcome. Thank you, Timmy, for the introduction. Welcome everybody to our little orientation on Basecamp. So Basecamp was developed almost 3 years ago, and it is the online community for Temenos where our customers and partners engage with each other and our experts. We encourage all Temenos customers and partners to visit Basecamp often to get the latest product information and to discover our value-added programs. So a couple of features I want to go over for Basecamp is you have access to Temenos experts, which is a really key thing for developers who are trying to solve problems at their locations. We have online events and contests. We have expert articles that are written by our internal product managers, software engineers, and experts, so those are pretty valuable. We have an online forum, which is on the homepage of Basecamp, and lots of private and public groups that you can use to hold separate topic-related conversations. We also have Ideation, which is where we crowdsource our feature requests. And we have a release and upgrade readiness program. We have product alerts and updates, training and certification links, marketplace links, and we have 2 community managers, myself and Tim May, who run the community. So the key to getting into Basecamp is there's a login button in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to show you a live demo of this, and you create a new account after clicking on login. Enter your credentials, and it's best if you use your work email address because some of our content is for customers only. So make sure you use your work email address. Click the link in the activation email, and then you're all set to start engaging with Basecamp. Basecamp pulls your profile information data from whatever you have in manage.coney.com. So whatever you put in the initial registration, that's where you'll go back to change it. And make sure you include a picture. So while logged in, you can engage with Basecamp. So you can see anything, you can consume most of the content on Basecamp without ever logging in. But once you log in, you have a little bit more options and opportunities to engage. You can see your profile page by clicking under your picture in the upper right corner. You can see, join, and access private groups you may belong to. You can ask questions and reply to questions. You can request an API key if you're logged in. You can share information. You can like posts on the forum so that you can receive notifications when they're updated. And you can also rate, like, and bookmark articles if you're logged in. So we encourage you to log in if you'd like to engage. So we recommend that if you're looking for help with Temenos products, you search first. You'll see that there's a search engine search field on the top of every page on Basecamp. We have a federated searches going out to several repositories with documentation and things like that. So a lot of times your answer will be there already in the forum post that's already been answered, or some kind of documentation or article. So we encourage you to search first. Then if you don't find what you're looking for, if there's a question, you can ask a question on the forum and we'll show you how to do that. And we'll show you how to follow tags to get updates and stay up to date with announcements. So if you can't find what you're looking for, if there's just something you're stuck with, you're looking for something and you can't find it, feel free to reach out to basecamp@temenos.com, and Timmy and I will help you find it. I do want to point out that we have these articles that I spoke about in the beginning. These are written by our experts from all over Temenos. So you have like all the, we have annual or we have quarterly contests where people from all over the company write articles for Basecamp. And so this means that you have a constant flow of updated information about our products, which is really valuable. You can find those by going to Learn at the top and clicking on articles, and we'll show you how to do that during the demo as well. Another thing I want to cover is ideation. So if you have a feature request for Temenos, any Temenos product, you can enter that feature request in ideation, which we'll show you in a minute. And voting is 1 vote per person. There's all different ways to look at the ideas, whether it be by their status or by what category they're in, like what product they're under. You can also view idea activity by user in the profile page. This is managed by the Temenos product team. So the product team is actively looking at the feature requests and giving them a status. And it's also searchable using ideas filter on the search. So we encourage all our customers and partners to use our ideation feature. Okay, so now I'm going to do a live demo. So Basecamp is at basecamp.temenos.com. And this is the homepage, and most information is on the most important information we've put on the homepage. So for example, our forum is on the homepage right here. You can see the articles, unanswered questions, and feed information for just the feed that your feed, meaning questions that you've asked or answered. That'll show up right here. You can see from the top. Here is the search bar that I was talking about before. If you want to search on something, and I can show you how the filters work. So say I'm going to search on Base 64. You'll see that there's all different ways to look at the information for Base 64. You can look at forum posts. You can look at documentation, ideas for Base 64 right here, tags for Base 64. So if you want to follow a tag, you can click on this Base 64 tag. There's any tag you can follow, but I'll show you how to do that. So I clicked on Base 64, and now I can follow that. So if I click on follow, now I'm following that tag. And if you want to see every post that comes up that's involving Base 64 or a certain topic, you can follow that, and you'll get an email notification every time a question is asked on the forum for Base 64. So that's a good way to follow certain kinds of topics, whether it be APIs or whatever topic you can imagine, you can follow it here. So I'm going to go back to the home page, and again, you can search. If you don't find what you're looking for, you can ask a question, and just click on the question button, and then there's all kinds of different categories here for each of the products, and make sure you add lots of tags. This will help other people find what they're looking for later. Also, if you have access to support right now for Coney, you'll see the support button. You need to be logged in to see this. In the future, we're planning to have a support page for all of the different support functions for Temenos Transact, the Avoca acquisition support mechanism, and as we combine those, they'll be combined and you can access them on Basecamp. Also on the home page, I want to point out that we have an events widget. The most recent articles are on here on the right. And some important tiles at the top here are getting started with Temenos APIs, and more information about Temenos APIs, Temenos Infinity, and Temenos Quantum. And up here, you can also see that under community, there's access to the former Avoca community. We have the forum, which is the page you're looking at right now. We have a group area where you can see that there's a bunch of private groups here, but there's also a public groups as well, like Temenos Cafe. Temenos Cafe is where we post all of our knowledge sharing or announcements, anything that's a value add to you guys as users. You'll see that in the Temenos Cafe group. Sometimes you'll be involved in something like here's the loan origination group that we're forming right now, and early adopter groups and things like that. And so that's where you'll go to find them in under groups. We also announce products here, so or make product announcements. So if there's something that's changing with the software that you're using and the product team wants you to know about it, we'll be posting that right here in the announcements area. And again, here's the events. So you can see upcoming events, and you can also see past events by changing the filter at the top. And you can also see that our recorded webinars are here. So anything that's public is shown here on the right side, and you can revisit those. So we also have some getting started documentation here. We also have Avoca documentation as well. And then here's that articles page I was talking about before. You can see there's all different kinds of categories on the right, and you can see the latest articles and then the highest rated and most commented articles. So say if you want to, you were looking at a webinar, let's see if I can find one, and you wanted to see the recording, you would just click on the webinar page that you saw, that we used to advertise it, and you'll see that we put the recording right in the page. And then if you have questions during a webinar and we give the answers through Q&A panel, we put that entire transcript in here as well, so that provides more value if you missed the webinar. And then if you have any questions, you can post them at the bottom of the page, and we'll give an answer in there. Okay, so that's articles, and we have release information right now. It's for Quantum, but we'll be adding more release information as products come online. We have the training links here for Temenos training, Avoca training, and Quantum training. Here's Ideation, and you can see when the ideas load here that you can vote on these ideas. You can look at the ones that are trending. You can look at the most recent, the most popular ideas. You can see that this popular one right here is under review by product management. You can see that this one was recently delivered. And this way, I encourage everybody to search first before they submit a feature request, because it might already be out there and you can vote on it. And the more votes it has, the more the product team will pay attention to it and consider it. You can also refine your search by showing just ideas that you've submitted over here on the right. You can look at ideas that your organization has submitted, ones that you've commented on or ones that you've voted on. And this is how you keep track of the status of your ideas. You can also look at ideas of just only the ones that are delivered. We just delivered, I think, about 13 for the V9 Quantum release. And you can also just look at them by category. So once again, if you vote, you can only have one vote. So make sure if you want to vote it up or down, you just have one chance at it. So that's what you'll want to do, is make sure you do it once. Also, here's where you post a new idea. You can click on this blue button on the right, and that'll get you a new idea posted. So there's also some marketplace links here. And if you look at under your name while you're logged in, you can see your profile page. This will show you where you've earned badges, and we're giving away badges all the time, and this is where they're collected, and you can see them. You can also see what your influence is. You can see your idea activity if you've been participating in that. You can also add expertise in here. Shows what groups that you're involved with, who's following you, and who you're following. And it also shows the most recent activity here on the left. It shows that I've given some badges recently here, and it shows when I've replied to something. And so if you just want to go back to what you've done personally, you can always go to your profile page and just scroll down and see your activity. Okay, so I think that covers it for the things that I wanted to show during the demo. So I'm going to go back to my deck. So we want to definitely highlight the Basecamp events that are coming up. So we usually have about one webinar a month, but because we're all in lockdown, we thought it would be a good idea to share as much knowledge as possible for people who are kind of confined and have nothing to do. So here we are. We have several webinars coming up, and these are from our best and brightest experts at Temenos. You'll learn a lot about the API library, payments and skills, your payments information. You'll learn about microservices framework, our data lake and explainable AI, which is one that's coming up. It's very popular. In July, we're going to have how to turbocharge a UI game with design best practices for banking. Again, to find this information, you go under community at the top of the navigation and click on events, or you can see the URL here on the left, and that's where you can go to sign up. Some of these are, a lot of these are open to the public, but some of these, for example, for like the microservices and the data lake and the skills webinars are for partners and customers only. So when you register, we'll look into that and get you all in. Again, I wanted to point out that we have 2 community managers, so both sides of the world are covered. Tanmay, who introduced this webinar, is in Hyderabad, India, and I'm in Austin, Texas. Again, if you need anything from us, we're here. You can find us at Basecamp at temenos.com. And we're always happy to help, and we thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Mary. It was a good session, a lot of info, and of course, you've showed the demo as well, which was good. I hope the audience as well today found it useful. There are a couple of slides that I want to show before you guys leave, and then we'll wrap it up. The Q&A panel is still open. If you have questions, you can post it here, or you can use Basecamp forum and ask questions. We have a lot of experts over there, and it's a quite active forum, so make sure you post your questions over there. So we still have a couple of minutes, and you can use Q&A panel and ask questions if you have. Since Mary already covered, so I just want to show you again that we are doing a global lockdown series. If you see my screen, you can go to basecamp.temenos.com events page and see all the webinars that we are doing under the global lockdown series. These are all individual separate events created on Basecamp, so make sure you visit each of these individually and register, because each of these events are carrying individual registration links. So make sure you visit each of these and do it. There are 6 of them. So far we have added on Basecamp, and more are coming in weeks. We are also running a small, kind of a, a trend on a timeline on Basecamp, which is showing a lot of technical trend. I'm collecting all the articles from different sources and putting it together on one page. So, you can spend some time and look at the uh, technical news, what is happening around the globe during this time. We also have a Facebook page. If you've not joined it yet, you can join, and we update the page about what is happening on Basecamp and what all events are coming. So you can also, there's one more group for you to know that what is happening on Basecamp. Plus, there is a Temenos Cafe that is being demonstrated during the session. So join both of these groups, and you'll get the information about what events are coming up. Lastly, the next webinar. So the global lockdown series, which I mentioned, it's starting up from 28th of April. So there are 6 events starting from 28th. So visit all those links and register yourself. So the next one is using the Temenos developer portal and API library event, which is coming on 28th. Again, all the events are available on basecamp.temenos.com events page. We'll be posting the recording on Basecamp, and the same page from where you registered for the event, you'll see the recording over there. So you can share it later with your friends and colleagues if you want. If if you want to give us any suggestions about any topic that you have in mind you want us to cover in one of the webinars, so make sure you email us. And on the right hand side, you see basecamp@temenos.com is the email ID where you can send us the request. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you again in the next webinars. Thank you so much.